It's gonna be a good one. We've already come out with our first hard point of the season, right? First stream of season 4. So I'm looking for this to be pretty exciting. So we're gonna start off P1 right off the break. Gish is gonna go top art. He's gonna find one, but Dan Hill's quickly there to trade. He's actually gonna find two, make it a third. Nibbles for Kibbles. He's on the run. He doesn't want to get taken down by Dan, but he does manage to shoot him in the back. So we're remaining scrappy for the first 20 seconds now. Nibbles running around. He's going to find one. Goes for a little bit of a chow, but probably not the thing you want to be challenging with that 74U. But so far, so good for the side of LA Dweebs. Got a decent bit of control. Looking to push forward now. Nibbles, he's got to win this gunfight on the black van. I think his controller did a little bit of a mess up there, but he got the kill nonetheless. Nades are coming through. And with 20 seconds on this, go ahead and start looking at to rotate. A bit of control for Sydney Dingoes on that side of the P2 area. And spawns are still out for LA Dweebs. So, despite getting that 40 seconds off that P1, Sydney Dingoes set up for P2.
Absolutely, for me, I mean, just Nibble's ability to stay alive there in Hill allowed his team to come off spawn and kind of more or less pick up the slack when he did happen to drop there or had controller issues there. And like you said, the early setup going the way of the City Dingoes, but just like that, those positions are broken. And the LA Dweebs with a huge retake, but Dan with a double nade answer back. And just like that, the City Dingoes are right back in this. And so 40 seconds remaining for this P2. We have players flooding this mid cutout stairs area. They are pushing and putting pressure into this front side of kitchen, and they are able to clean up those kills. Toph with a huge one to establish the spawns for their team, and as I say that, actually the spawns do flip, and so Sydney with the rest of this time, as the LA Dweebs do have the early setup for this P3.
Yeah, and this is looking fairly solid, but you do got to take into account that late P2 spawn. Nibbles is actually going to spawn all the way up towards the opposite end of the map. Only a 25-point deficit for the side of the Sydney Dingoes. They got a bit of a 2v2 happening on this point, soon to turn into a 4v2. One more goes down. Icy is all that's left. Jimmy K with some nice shots. And Sydney Dingoes are going to be able to break that hill pretty efficiently. Now they got to withstand the break that is LA Dweebs, and it looks like they're just full sail through the middle. Actually, they're going to start breaking off towards that art side. They've got a nice little pinch going now, blocking the spawns, doing all that. Nibbles is going to find one, the playmaker when you need him. Jimmy Keg, though, stunts the push on the other side. The pinch is trying to come through. Toph flies in. He finds one. He finds a second. But Jimmy Keg, they're going to be 1v1. Toph wins that. That's going to be 3. And it looks like LA Dweebs are going to be able to hold on to the scrap time as long as Sydney Dingoes don't hit it from that AC spawn.
I gotta tell you though, Jimmy Keg with a huge, the big brain plays there. He wanted to hold down that raid push at a P1, noticed nobody's there, immediately turned around and picked up 2 there, Zig. Huge position plays out of him, but unfortunately, it has led to the P4 side of things being held entirely by the LA Dweebs. And not only do they have that early setup, but they also have a 50-point lead and Toph on a 5-kill streak before he gets taken out. And so a lot of the the kills really seem to be going in favor of the LA Dweebs here, although the ability for the Sydney Dingoes to retake these positions we saw, effectively out of that P2 side of things. But as I say, that all players for the side of LA, for the Sydney Dingoes do drop, and we have players attempting to kind of pinch this retake from the money window as well as the back stairs. Up left, Nibbles and Kibbles needs to just that, as he manages to get at least a contest for the rest of the scrap time, as well as the second, with that Diamati just going off completely before getting taken out. And just like that, after our first 4 hills, we see a point lead for the LA Dweebs by a margin of 60, 115 to 60.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about before the map. Even though those P4s can end up being very strong money hills, Raid is one of those maps that every hill can end up scrappy as long as the teams are playing to a similar level. But the P4 aside, it looks like P5 might be turning into a money hill as a bunch of 1v1s happen, that pinstripe kill feed, making a bunch of trades as eventually LA Dweebs going to end up on top. And no wonder why. You have Toph 16-8, the guy is double positive, and Nibbles and Kibbles as well, also double positive, 20-8. These guys are just absolutely going off on the main stage right now for the side of LA, as Gish finds a nice little 2-piece there. Toph finds one. There's one more in the pillars area. Giants is just trying to play his life. And with 15 seconds left, you're going to go ahead and start looking for this rotation over to P1. But Sydney Dingoes, they do a good job of bouncing back. They are maintaining their control. They're catching LA Dweebs a little bit of a spawn under that apartment side. They've got the P2 spawn. Oh, never mind. Basketball spawns just came through, and so while they will have this early P1 support, there's a nice little pinch developing for the side of LA Dweebs.
Absolutely, and you were saying how scrappy that P5 typically is, and we saw, you hinted at this becoming more and more of a money hill. We saw the end of Season 3, teams getting nearly the entirety of that point worth of time, and, the LA Dweebs had 115 heading into that hill, so they got 45, make it, 50 seconds worth of time out of a possible 60 on that P5, but, after that first set of hills came through, it looks like Sydney Dingoes are starting to wake up here a little bit. They're about to break that 100-point margin. They've got so far a majority of this P1 time. They forced the spawns here in this next P2. Nibbles and Kibbles doing what he did in the first set of hills, staying alive as much as possible in this sub roll. And now spawns, like I said, as Sydney originally had that setup, and it looks like the spawns just flipped and they spawned out. So for the time being, the spawns for this P2 side will favor the LA Dweebs, as Sydney knows that they need to be aggressive here in this point, retake the kitchen, and Dan doing what he does best, that intense run and gun style sub that he is doing just that, and 3 drop for the side of LGs, make that 4, and so just like that, a full retake and the momentum shift here going in favor of the Sydney Dingoes, and only one player in contention for these spawns here is number 1 on your screen. That's going to be Toth. He's flanked all the way around for the anchor. As long as the players of Sydney Dingoes start to drop, this team will start to spawn here, and Toth with a huge 2-piece, although not able to secure the spawns for that team. The LA Dweebs are going to be spawning on this P3 side of things, and so the remainder of this time you would anticipate will be going the way of the Sydney Dingoes. However, they're going to need to get on a move here, right? Because there's and they're doing just that. So with 10 seconds left to go, they elect to have 3 players on the rotation, and they know that this is going to be such an important hill, as, the LA Dweebs would begin to inch closer to that 250-point victory.
Yeah, and ultimately, that's one of those things that you have to kind of respect LA for doing so well, is that controlling that spawn game rate. Obviously, their slaying is at maximum capacity right now, Toff 26, Nibbles 23, and they're just flying through it, but you have to look at what's causing that and allowing that to happen. It's really that spawn control that LA Dweebs have been showcasing off so well. They're always rotated to their proper spots. They're always making sure that they hold the spawns to allow their 2 subs and Nibbles and Toff in order to get those proper kills, and that's exactly what we're seeing right here. So 24 points still left on the clock for whoever wants. So Jimmy Keck, he's just going to go slip through right through the middle, but gets taken down. He picked the wrong corner. Dan's going to challenge it, and he's going to win that gunfight. And Sydney going to be able to grab this last 10 seconds, which is a pretty good thing considering you need it, considering how far the LA Dweebs have come. But you do need to make sure that you get this rotation, and Giants is doing such a good job of staying alive. But regardless, we do see the first few seconds of this last P4, I'm going to guess, go the way of LA Dweebs as Toff picks up 2. All players from Sydney are spawning out front. And you kind of just have to guess that they're going to have to flood through this middle here, get a nice break in, or this is probably going to be game over.
Absolutely, and I do want to mention that Icy left that P3 with 25 seconds to go. They want to win it all here and get that early spawn setup, and they are doing just that as time ticks down and 5 seconds remaining. We see one more push here through basketball out of Sydney Dingoes. They're just flying at the hill at this point, and all 3 go down from Gish with a huge 3-piece. To seal the deal, the LA Dweebs take it 250 to 153.
Yeah, and honestly, if you look at just the catalyst, the playmaking out of LA Dweebs, it was realistically just, their ARs and Icy and Gish giving their sub players, Hoff and Nibbles, the ability...
the opportunity to put as much time before this match as they would like to into these new rosters for Season 4, but... Search and Destroy seems to lead itself to a lot of these players playing at the gold level who grew up playing in that, that search scene. So we'll hop on here with Dan here off the rip. Dan is going to be in that aggressive position again. He's going to get some information here in mid as he sees a player in ticket booth and gets shot punched down by Nibbles and Kibbles, showing him that in that position he wants to, tell him he's maybe the more aggressive, better suited sub for that fight. I'm not saying it. Just throwing that out there.
And
Gish
Gish,
positioned here in train. He's waiting to see if he can call
I
out a
think
player on the cross. Yeah,
he did see him, didn't he, behind that little plantain area, right?
I
I
believe
think
so. It
he's
seemed
just
like it.
barely saw them. They're just crouching around.
Absolutely, and this A setup clearly going to be what's going down for the side of Monroe. And Gish does manage to get one on the cross and top one as well, so it is now a 1 versus 4 situation for Giants in this AR role. He's trying to do what he can to stay alive, but he's going to be getting pinched here, and he drops. So, first round going the way of the LA Dweebs.
Yeah, that was a very very enticing round to say the very least, and I think we're seeing a 3-sub setup come from the side of LA. I think they really want to put a lot of pressure now on the Sydney Dingoes due to that first map result, but very clean round by LA Dweebs, played patiently enough to kind of bait Cindy into those bad positions and were able to pinch him out, get those kills. So very clean round after all, but now it's going to be the LA Dweebs side. It's going to be their turn to go on the attack. They've got 3 hitting B, 4 hitting B now as he comes down from the steps, and it's going to be a 2-2 split for Cindy, so it's going to have to be Dan, who plays his life so well inside that ticket booth. Jimmy Keg with some nice shots. Flatulent finds one. Icy was able to catch the trade, though, so we're now standing in a nice little 3 versus 2 for the side of Sydney Dingoes. Giants finds one on the flank he was. And now, Nibbles has to go huge in this 1v3 to extend the lead, but we're on pace for Sydney Dingoes tying it 1-1.
See if he can close it out here. If there's anybody on this in this series who is suited enough to do it, it is Nibbles and Kibbles in this sub role. See if he sees the player. He does, so he's gonna try to get away with his life now. The pre-fire's coming through. A smart take for him to do that. He's now waiting for players to flood in. I'm not sure if he saw that player drop. Doesn't matter because they are there for the team trades, and the Sydney Dingoes respond with one of their own. For me, I want to make it a point to mention that at some point LA Dweebs had a 4-stack there on B, and the Sydney Dingoes had 2 at either bomb site, and they managed to retake and trade efficiently and really dwindle it down to that 1 versus 3 situation. So standout plays there for the side of the Sydney Dingoes.
Yeah.
As we're on board here with Gish. Gish is going to again try to get some information. He does stun one player there in mid, and a player here in top drops one as well. He knows this player's still behind him and challenges. Gish cleans him up. Likely the player who he stunned in the beginning of the round, I imagine, as we're now down to a 1 versus 4, and just as soon as it started, it dropped as the LA Dweebs with a commanding win of that round 3.
Yep, 3 rounds, 3 defensive wins. As that was a snap and you'll miss it kind of S&D round. We've all had those. As looking at it from that side, I do think that what it's going to come down to is those flanks that are going to happen on this map. You can already see it throughout these past 3 rounds. Those flanks are really what's catching those players off guard. If a player's watching the flank, then that team is more than likely going to win. However, the teams that have failed to watch the flank throughout this game so far have lost those rounds. So it really is going to be a battle for the flanks. But LA Dweebs got shut down on B last round. They're not going to take that chance. They're going to go head towards A. And there's already an interesting engagement as trades are coming through. Gish trading onto Flatulent Monkeys, and Icy picks one off with a nice little long range gunfight. But Giants up in this top area. He's going to find one, and now the players are on the hunt. Jimmy Keg on the long flank. Are they going to be able to read this now? Because he is in a 1v2. Toph tries to hop in. Unfortunately, Jimmy Keg's not going to get that kill. You kind of wish he had that one back. And bomb's going down now. So 45 seconds on the clock for Jimmy Keg. He's going to run into the line sights of Toph, and that's going to go down as the first offensive round one.
Yeah, and Giants was just, that kill in top of, maps there in this jump up area. I do want to mention that the 2 kills that Giants have had so far was on a flank as well as, a peekaboo handed kill there on that top. But still, I think that was the difference maker as he forced the players to challenge him at that top area. And just like that, it looks like the Dingoes are going to elect to do an A push on their own here on this offense. A lot faster pace as they did in the beginning is Jimmy with a huge kill to open things up. That's exactly as we were talking about. Those ARs on this map are a huge ability to have those intro kills as Dan sneakily jumps down and he starts to plant, and just like that, with a 2 versus 4 in favor of the Sydney Dingoes. We are seeing the bomb is down. Nibbles and Kibbles and Icy are forced to retake here. This player is pushing them. Dan unfortunately falls. Likely trust that the rest of his teammates are in positions to watch and hold the bomb position here. They know that both of these players are on their side, and they have to come up and interact with them near the bomb. Nibbles last alive gets taken out as well, and just like that, the Sydney Dingoes respond with a round win. It is now 2-3 in favor of the LA Dweebs.
Yeah, and that was really just a very clean round from the side of Sydney, getting that bomb down so early after 2 early picks. Just a great round of S&D for them, and now they're going back on the defensive to hopefully even up this game. And kind of what I want to see here is I want to see someone try to make a hard counter read. What bomb site is LA Dweebs going to go to, and how can we play around that? I think the guess is probably going to end up being B, and we do have a little bit of a hard counter in that going towards the B side, but there are players in the middle. So Giants, he's going to be the first point of contact. He's going to find one, but he's traded. And a couple more kills go the way of Sydney Dingoes.
Wow.
And these rounds are just flying by. You can't even commentate on them. I think Flatulent Monkey's got a 2-piece to close it out before I can keep.
I would normally say in response here in this break between rounds what I liked about the strats, but really they just got the kills.
Yeah, they just
got
kind
the
of
4
threw
kills.
themselves at each other.
Absolutely. There's really nothing to say other than good job getting the kills to end the round. All right, we'll see if the B kind of mirrored counter comes through here, as it is tied here through 3. It does look like Bomb is going to be going down this terminal side. There's not as hard of a mirror contest here, although 2 players, Plaid of the Dweebs, did go this way, and as trophies and stuns come through, a huge kill onto the Bomb. Flatulent does get that huge head glitch kill off of Tough. Nibbles trades one onto Dan. It is now a 3 versus 3 as this trading is coming through effectively. The bomb is near the B bomb, although it looks like Dweebs are anticipating a rotation here to A, as right now both teams here in a stalemate position. No players necessarily inching or moving at the moment. It does look like there's one player, number 6 on your screen. It's Toph. He is the last person for the LA Dweebs waiting near the bomb for this plant and that information. He is going to be able to see this player off the cross if he peeks it. Flatulent does a great job of staying low. Nibbles does not yet know that bomb is down, and he does now that it's off. That player through the ticket side. Flatulent gets away with his life as Nibbles. That timing, unfortunately, not working in his favor, as he is now called out. Gish on a huge flank, though. He's not able to clean up that player. Jimmy with the IQ, the plays, and cleaning up that player, and just like that, the Dingoes up 1 round as they came back from a 1-3 deficit.
Yeah, and honestly, just looking at this, right, we talked about it before the game. We talked about how we have to make sure that if you're on the side of LA Dweebs, you can't get too confident. You can't push up without being in position for trades. And that's exactly what they're kind of doing right now. They're allowing Sydney to play that numbers advantage and hold the right lanes that they need to without giving LA Dweebs much of a crack in the armor to push through. And so we're going to have to be seeing that happen a little bit more. But we talked about hard counters earlier. It looks like Cindy thought the hard counter was the A play this time, but Bomb's going to go down B, and so now a 4v4 retake is about to occur. Jimmy finds one onto Gish to open it up. So 4v3 is going to start right about now. 2 players on the steps, 1 player watching at the spawn rotation. He's going to find some shots now onto the other side of the terminal. Both players just laying low for a second. Flatulent, though, he's able to find his way through into the middle of the bomb site. Icy now, he's going to have to withstand 2 players. Jimmy Keg finds one on the other side of the map. Icy finds one, he chows out. Top finds one on the other side. Jimmy Keg's going to get tagged up. And a 4v2 now turned into a 2v2. And even regardless, it might not be possible. Icy's trying to turn on him, but Bomb's not even on. Top can just 1v1 this. And despite all the action, it was already settled 7 seconds earlier.
I do want to say that with the exception of that one offensive round where Dingoes got bombed down pretty much immediately on A, This is the first round that we've seen that there's not been a hard counter onto the offensive points, right? There has not been the pressure that we have. This round there wasn't the same kind of pressure in the spawn pushes that we saw onto this B area, and so very smart for the LA Dweebs to immediately get bombed down as they see no pressure coming through, as they know that the players are going to be on that A side Toph pushing through to the opposing team's terminal, anticipating the rotation from A. Overall, standout search and destroy play from Dingoes. And here in this round 9, we armbar Jimmy. This is the same angle he was able to get that pick off last offense. He isn't able to get one there. Icy waiting for the players to push through. There is one below him. Does he? It sounds like he heard him. Yeah, Dan. Dan stays alive. Oh, almost manages to turn on him there and get the kill. As Icy is now one shot and is now down to a 2 versus 2 bomb down in lockers. Giants just waiting to see if the players are pushing up that side. He doesn't know that this player's here with him though. He's gonna challenge out the flat area. He gets that player. He should not have won that gunfight realistically, although Icy, with one of his own, Icy in a 1 versus 1 Giants is an AR versus sub. He does not know bomb's going down. Oh, he manages to get away with his life. He probably could have put bomb down there and played his life a bit. And looks like bomb is going down now as Icy is electing to push up this train side. We are in a 1 versus 1 Icy pushing through to the offensive spawn, trying to be sneaky. Right now, Giants doesn't know where he is. The last time Giants saw him, he got the kill on the Jimmy top plat. He is now on top of the trains or inside of train, now pushed into the waiting room of lockers. See if he jumps up here, and he does. The Giants hear him. Giants didn't hear him. Icy gets the kill, and he closes out the round. It is now 5-4 for the LA Dweebs. And yeah, the head shake coming through from Icy. We saw it, bro. We'll clip it. Good job.
Yeah, and that was a nice little 1v1 win from Icy there. But one of those key points in the round is that could have been a much cleaner victory for the side of LA Dweebs. But like I said before the game started, you have to make sure that you're not getting too comfortable in your challenges, and you're making sure that you play for your trades, even in situations like 4v2. LA Dweebs got up 4v2, and it ended up having to be a 2v1 for Icy in order to win that round. And what should have been a blowout ended up being very close, with only about 10 seconds being left on the clock to clutch. But that was last round. Hopefully LA Dweebs are learning from their mistakes. And the pressure's on B, but no one's home, as bomb's getting taken towards that A site. Giants about to run into the fire of Icy as he's going to get taken down. And Dan's going to be on a little bit of a flank here. He is going to take some shots in the back and will go down. So 4v2. Toph, gets taken down by Flatulent, but Gish and Icy are there cleaning up. And a very anticlimactic end to our long but short S&D.
A number of those rounds did seem to drag on as others. And as long as, like you said, they play to the fundamentals, they stack when they can, they get the appropriate trades or team pushes, I do think that Sydney Dingoes still have a fighting chance, as they certainly have the roster capable of taking on this LA Dweeb side. As we start off here with Toph from the offensive end. He is met in this stack here with Giants on this, or Flatulent, and as well as Jimmy, as it looks like, I'm having difficulty here seeing, as it looks like the early setup is going to be going the way of the LA Dweebs in the dominance on this offensive end, and they've made a tick of progress, and they're working on a second, and so far so good, I would say, as far as their pressure here on this A-Hill.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of chaos on the point, and the pressure starting to come through for Sydney, as that's a nice little kill from Flatulent. Dan Hill helps him clean it up, but now we talk about fundamentals, talk about a rotation that's already coming out. You have 3 players from the side of Sydney go ahead and rotate over towards this B point. Jimmy K is going to find 2 to clean it up. And Dan Hill is looking to catch those players up in a spawn trap. The push now from LA, gonna head towards this water keg, opens up with 1, finds shots in the second, but he's taken down. And that player that's gonna be Dan under that bottom apartment area is gonna be so influential, but Icy picks up 2. So nice couple of kills, and now look where LA Dweebs get the spawn. They get the spawn right on top of the A site. There's pressure on both ends, the slang power is there. And it's just really just a dominant first round, despite all the things that led up to it for the side of LAD. That's 3 ticks already through, combined from both points. Top in a couple of gunfights, doesn't quite win one of them, but it's enough to catch up on the A point, get that secure, and the lives remain relatively close, all things considered. Icy picks up 1, and now we're looking into the late stages of this first round.
Absolutely, and with 1 point controlled and the defensive side of things and those players dropping quickly, Giants with a huge kill on this B push, and Dan as well. They are in a position here, they being the Sydney Dingoes, to just hold these pushes and get those kills as they flood onto this B point, as they are forced to do so now at this point. But with 1:20 left on the clock, LA Dweebs certainly in the position here to regain and play this take slowly, as Gish here with this FFAR laid down on the point, waiting for players to peek as he's anticipating some of these kills to come through before stacking the point. Nearly misses the kills. Jimmy with a 2-piece though, and he's gonna be looking for a third here on Gish. He knows where he is. Gish set up with his FAR. The slide manages to cancel him out. 3 dead for the side of the LA Dweebs. Jimmy going off huge, and this is exactly what we said we needed to see out of him. A much more aggressive AR role, helping the subs in the point, cleaning up the kills that are necessary to win here. Dan with the bullfrog doing what he can here on this top side of Mansion, waiting to kill players off spawn. He's behind one now, and does he pick him up? He does. Nearly missed the kill. And with 40 seconds to go and 6 lives remaining, it really is going to come down to one more push here on defensive side of things for the Sydney Dingoes. One more player drops. There's a contest in the point. Toph and Dan in a 1 versus 1. Dan is taken out. A trade comes through. Lives now in favor of the Sydney Dingoes as it's 2 versus 3. Jimmy with another huge kill. Nibbles and Gish need to go off here. 30 seconds remaining and 1 tick on this B point. It's going to come down to this next push, but look at how spread out Sydney Dingoes are. Nobody's there for the trade as Gish gets one as well. There's 1 player remaining here in Tiki, and he gets taken out. The LA Dweebs should not have won that round.
Yeah, and I have a couple of vices with how both teams played that, but at the end of the day, the slaying power does reign supreme. I think that LA Dweebs could have had a much cleaner round. Oh, I didn't know that this kill cam was that nasty. That was a nice little snapper by Icy right there, but back to what I was saying, you know, LA Dweebs had a couple of opportunities there where they could have stacked the point just a little bit and cleared up that round faster, you know, winning it before it got down to no respawns. But at the same time, you look at Sydney Dingoes 3 versus 2 with 30 seconds on the clock. You just have to play for your trades at that point and make sure you watch all the right angles. And that goes into that fundamental kind of play style that these teams are going to have to learn in order to keep up with each other. And that's just an unfortunate thing to happen right there. Call it a loony as a teammate comes through. And Icy now, he's going to be watching this cut. Toph finds one into Flatulent. And look at the push that's starting to come through from the side of LA, even with a team kill. Nibbles finds one player going to be top Mansion, 1 player on the point. Nibbles finds the second with the help of his sub-duo Toph. Jimmy Keg, though, he's still here for the pressure. If he gets the second kill, not quite. Could have had the second tick, but ultimately, LA Dweebs doing a fantastic job on their defensive start to show their fundamentals and their slaying power.
Absolutely, and with the life advantage in favor of the LA Dweebs by a 5-point margin, we're seeing that the ticks not really coming through yet for the Sydney Dingoes. They're having some difficulty getting this offensive control as I say, that 2 do go down on the LA Dweebs side of things, and this B point is going to be taken by the Sydney Dingoes. Huge help there on the cutout mid-stairs from Flatulent, as we do see a 3-stack coming here on this B point. So with progression coming through and players not really challenging this here aggressively, another 3 go down. I'd hope to see players pushing through spawn here and catching these players off of spawn. And number 7 in Giant is looking to do just that, as the remaining players are actually electing to push through mid and get more control of this middle area. And the fight going down in kitchen. Number 5, Flatulent does get that kill. And just like that, the control going back in favor of the LA Dweebs as they have forced spawns out to this back gym side of things. And 2 kills going through for Toph before he drops. It is now a tied up life count, by a margin of 1 in favor of the LA Dweebs. 5 ticks are through for the Sydney Dingoes here, as they are certainly in a position to take this offensive round here.
Yeah, definitely. As Looking at it, the kill feed just now starting to shine through red. Jimmy Keg, though, he's in possession of the trade. We got one player inside Zig, but the spawn help is there. 4 players now flying through this Zig area. Minute on the clock, though, so you're not in too much of a hurry. Icy, though, he's going to lose that gunfight. A close one, but good enough for Jimmy Keg to take the W on that. Dan Hill, he's all the way on the B site that's been cleared already. The team fighting in a huge battle, and Toff finds a huge 2-piece to make sure that the point stays clear. 11-7. The pressure is there for the side of LA. The spawns are just an interwoven rotation circle of life that is just happening to go the way of LA Dweebs now. But 2 go down. We're looking for Icy and Gish to maintain their positions as the players have to fly through from pillars. 3 fly through, and they manage to find one. Gish is on, though. He finds 2 from a hidden spot. Toff, he's going to have to fly in now. Toff finds 1. Nibbles finds the second. And just before it gets captured, Toff, Gish, Nibbles, the heroes of LA, managed to fly through, take down those players. And 7 versus 2 with 10 left. Toff, Nibbles, kill feeds red. No cigar for Sydney Dingoes.
And at that point, they are just forcing those interactions with 3 lives left on the hill. It's tough to flood the hill, but also try to pay attention to where these players are hiding on those points. Icy drops on Rock, which was surprising to me, unfortunately. And with those 3 players flooding out, I'm sure he got, a bunch of different aim assists coming through. But we are going to see if that momentum, will transcend here for LA Dweebs.
Yeah, it was a very, very solid round for the LA Dweebs, all things considered. Though they do have to be careful. There were some points in the round that they were just giving up bits of control for free by being too aggressive, and that's the part of the double-edged sword that comes with being aggressive in control. If you're too aggressive and you get wiped, you're giving up the spawn control that you have. But Nibbles, he's not too worried about that. He finds 2. Tough picks up half of that, but makes the other player weak. And now Nibbles, he is very clearly aware of what's happening. Icy, that's a disconnect, unfortunately, but due to how far we are in the round, I don't think we will be looking at a restart at this point in time. So 3v4 for LA. It's gonna have to be a strong performance out of Toff, Nibbles, and Gish if they want to pull this one out. But they also, not all of them, but about 2/3 of the remaining team spawn up on top of A, and now has to be a capture here in order to get more time. Icy might be able to rejoin. Pausing the clock. 23-25. Nice little setup going on here. Nothing too much to complain about.
With Icy dropping, you're right. Hopefully they can get him back in the game, but it doesn't look like they're having any difficulty. They capped A without him, but really it comes down to Sydney Dingoes need to take advantage of this player not being here. They kept up their fight when there was a 4 versus 4, and it looks like, honestly, they're struggling a little bit here. Maybe they're confused or they're thrown off their game, but they do manage to force those spawns out here, and it looks like now for the time being they're holding on these kills as Nibble with a huge kill onto Jimmy. It looks like that LA Dweebs are just trying to stop the bleeding here for as long as they can, but honestly, if you're them, you're not so concerned if you lose this round while you're waiting to get Icy back in, because they're up 2 rounds already. So really they're gonna have to just stay composed here. Flatulent trying to get some mid-map positioning. Toff and Nibbles just being a nuisance here in spawn, picking up the kills. They're not even necessarily focused on getting this point. And, as we say that, Toff saw that the player had jumped down on the B, and just like that, there's 2 players stacking, and they got 2 ticks on the B! And there's 1 player still on the point, and they need to go.
You gotta go. Oh, that's a huge win. Toff finds 2. He's still on the point. Oh, what's happening?
They both ran out of ammo, and he got it. Oh, he got it. How did that happen?
I mean, not exactly the most hype moment of all time, but certainly confused on what happened here. Both players ran out of ammo at the same time, and Toff was just quicker on the trigger.